Hi, everybody. Welcome to Prepare to Win, Living and Selling with Excellence. Today, we are going to talk about setting goals for the year.
We're going to help you become better and up your game in 2024. Stay tuned.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Prepare to Win, Living and Selling with Excellence. I'm Lexi Manges. I'm the training coordinator at Automotive Sales Coach. I'm here with the Automotive Sales Coach, David Lowe. And today, we're going to talk about goal setting. Now, David, why did you choose to talk about goal setting now?
All right. Well, it's that time of year, right?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Lex, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Grace is on vacation. That's what people do, right?
Well deserved.
The holidays, right? Well deserved. And I'm glad you could join us because this is really a big thing. Right now, everybody's thinking about New Year's resolutions, right? And it's kind of a joke that I think it's like February 18th is fast food day because everybody makes a New Year's resolution.
Nice.
And I'll go in January, I go to the gym every morning. As you know, it was my habit to go every morning before coming up. I love it. It strengthens me. And not just my body, but my mind. My routine is really a thing that I count on. And a lot of people make that New Year's resolution to develop that routine, that habit of working out, getting in better shape. And so the gym is packed in January, where I normally park up front. Now I'm parking in the back. And they say that by February 18th, people are back eating fast food.
That's so funny. I said the same thing because I used to work at the gym, and we would say everybody would be gone by Valentine's Day.
By Valentine's Day, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's true. I mean, I think so. It's not just us. So I think that it's normal to want to be better. That's the point of this podcast. Better today than yesterday. Today we recognize everybody has a flame to be better than they are. We know that. Yeah. The question is, are we taking action on it? And this whole podcast and the episodes we do are designed to encourage people to live, seek excellence in their life, live and work with excellence, do everything with their whole heart, their whole might. And so we've been really delving into the soft skills. And you said, why goal setting? The time of the year, perfect time to set. So goal setting is kind of a soft skill. There's a way to do it and a way to do it well. And so I thought we would talk about how do we move from a New Year's resolution, which we probably won't keep, to maybe setting a goal that helps improve our life. So I thought I would. What is a goal?
Well, there's two different things, right? You have a dream and a goal. A goal, you have steps and ways to get there, right?
Right.
A dream is a wish.
Okay, so people say, I want to blank.
Yes.
And that might be a dream, it might be a goal.
Yeah.
We know the difference because a goal typically has more of a vision to it. As a matter of fact, the desire to get something or be something can move from a dream to a goal if we back it up with an action plan. In fact, there was an acronym out there called SMART goals.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah. Practice it so many times in school, right?
Yeah, it's here all the time. And now listen, a real goal, not a dream, is typically specific. It's clear, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's typically something that you can measure. It's typically something within your reach. I mean, you're going to have to stretch to get there, but it's obtainable. It's typically something that's relevant to your life. And it's typically something that's on a timetable, meaning not someday, but by this time, right? Well, guess what we just described? SMART, right? So I think that whoever created the SMART acronym really just took it from studying what goals were. It's not the other way around. We use SMART to create the goals. A great goal is going to be something that's specific, that we want. It's measurable, it's obtainable, it's relevant, and of course, there's a timetable to get it. So I think it's really important that we understand that it's cool to talk about things, but if we really want to obtain those things, become that person, or get that thing, we have to set a goal.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, so I mean, I think that all of us, I think everybody listening out there has probably had goals they set in their life, even small goals they set. And so the goal sets in motion the actions to get it. I'm thinking about my life, and I really, without knowing it, has been a series of goal setting.
Right.
I think in 7th grade, I wanted to build. I was a skinny little kid. I wanted to build muscle. I had a goal of having muscle, and so I got Arnold's book and worked out and got right. I wanted to play bass, so I bought a bass and I bought a Mel Bay book on playing bass and a Rush music book and learned. So you set these things that you want. I wanted to become a bass player. That's something I want to become. Muscles are something I wanted to have.
Oh yeah.
I think that becoming a manager, becoming a top salesman are goals. I can remember wanting to buy my first house. That was a goal.
So you're saying that you're putting goals in different areas of your life too. It's not just you're focusing on one area. You're trying to be well-rounded, right?
Well, I think that, we're going to talk a little bit about that because not setting goals properly can cause you not to be well-rounded. But yeah, goals can really fit all the areas of your life. Personal, professional, spiritual, financial, right? There's a lot of areas, those 7 key areas of your life. They can fit those. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But as we go down and we say, I want to buy a house, what does it take to do it?
Yeah.
So having a goal is more than just simply having a dream. It's something you're willing to pay the price to get.
Right. And what if you don't know how to accomplish that goal?
We're going to talk about some of those things right now and how to find that. But I tell you, I believe, honestly, that almost everything you want to know how to do, there's information on it. But you have to look at your specific. You want to develop the know-how. You want to study somebody who is where you want to go.
Exactly.
It's one of the simplest ways to do it. But I want to share a couple things. This book made an impact on me. The Attitudes Are Contagious. For those on YouTube, you can see it. Everybody else, you can't. Pages falling out of it. So I don't know. I've had it for years. In fact, it was a friend's book that I never returned. Don't tell them. Anyway, there's a section on goal setting here. I always thought it was interesting. I know there's tons of studies, but it was kind of interesting. In here, it was a study of some Harvard students. And they found out, it talks about how many set goals. And so you have kind of accomplished students. And they realized that only about 5% of the people there actually set and pursued goals.
Which is crazy because they're like the top people, right? You get into Harvard and then only a small selection of them actually set goals. That's
and
wild.
probably the example their parents probably accomplished a lot to get them there, whatever.
Yeah.
You think that cycle. So surprising, but it was kind of cool study because 10 years later, they followed up with the same students. And they found that 93% of the wealth of the 100 students belong to those 5. 93%.
Wow.
So we say, does setting goals help you accomplish things? I think we all know they do. And this is one of my favorite books, too, The Greatest Salesman in the World. Sometimes people think I'm a salesman for that company because I talk about so much. It was a book that changed my life, the 10 scrolls in it. If you haven't read it, Og Mandino, The Greatest Salesman, was really on the terms of what we're doing, living with and selling with excellence.
Right.
And there's 10 principles in there. The one principle, number 8, I will multiply my value 100-fold. So School 8 talks about becoming more, multiplying your value, being more of a benefit. And how will I accomplish this? First, I'll set goals for the day, the week, and the month, the year in my life. Just as rain must fall before the wheat will crack and the shell will sprout, so I must have objectives before my life will crystallize. And setting my goals, I will consider my best performance of the past and multiply by 100. So this is talking about not just setting goals, but setting high goals, right? It says why, So setting goals has been a topic of people forever. And the problem is that people that are seeking to be better are setting goals and pursuing goals, while most of us are showing up and hoping they happen, right? So how do we move, as you said, from the dreamer to the goal setter? Okay, before I get into that, I want to share Solomon's vision process, and I'd like to share, I think, some ideas how to come up with good goals and and go about it. And I think we said, how do I accomplish my goal?
Yeah.
We're talking about Solomon's vision process. Before we do that, I do want to warn everybody out here to be careful of the goals you set.
Why is that?
Well, what if you set the wrong goal? So goals require focus determined action, right?
Yeah.
And let me give you a story. So I set a goal of becoming Mr. Wisconsin in the 90s. I wanted to compete. I wanted to look like Rambo. That was the bottom line. And Mr. Wisconsin was the thing. And it really fit my lifestyle. I was in the fit. It was relative. It was specific. When Mr. Measurable, I either win or I don't. Obtainable, I thought I could do it. I was in pretty good shape relative to my life, and timed. April of 2001. That had to be in the best shape of my life. That's when it had to be. So, and I pursued that with all my heart and my might. The problem was I used to have this kind of the YMCA focus on my life, mind, body, and spirit. This goal became so strong that it became body, body, body.
Yeah.
Now, what happened during my life when I was so focused on this goal? Because whatever you say yes to, you're saying no to something else.
Right.
And as I made choices to accomplish my goal, what did I leave in my wake? Well, I can tell you 2 years later, I was divorced and my whole life changed. I believe it was the beginning. So this good goal, this quality goal that I set, that you would say is something worthy of pursuing, being in the best shape of your life at a moment in time, physical fitness, worthy pursuit.
Right.
Actually, because I did it wrong, might have worked against me in my entire life. I got in the best shape I was in, but that's it. So we could say Steve Jobs did the same thing.
Right.
His famous words at the end of his life, people would say, I've reached the pinnacle of success. They look at my life from the outside, and then he goes on to say, but outside of work, I had no joy.
Yeah.
And then he goes on, if you haven't read his words, Google Steve Jobs' last words, read them and contemplate and really kind of consider those as you're setting goals. Are you pursuing the right thing? Are you heading in the right direction? Okay, so we talked a lot about goals.
Yeah.
We know that goals are different than dreams. We know that goals have a plan. We know that goals will help us accomplish what we want.
Right.
We also know to be careful setting them. So how do you set them? So I'd like to share with you one of my favorite principles. And as you know, I talk about Solomon, Solomon for 3,000 years ago. He wrote a book called Proverbs. I talk about that a lot. Proverbs is a book of wisdom, eternal words of wisdom, the way things are. Stephen Covey called them natural laws, same thing. And Solomon wrote this book, said to his children so that they would live well. And he said some mighty powerful things. One of them related to goals. He said, where there's no vision, the people perish. Now, today they'd say, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Same thing, right? So, So with no vision. So what does he mean, vision? So let's break it down. Vision is, where are you going? But it's more than that.
Okay.
So if I'm going to set a goal, my vision, what do I want? That's the beginning of it. Now, the question is, why do I want it? And I think that sometimes that's the last thing considered.
Yeah.
I mean, do I really want it?
Yeah.
Because am I willing to pay the price to get it?
Yeah. So why did you want Mr. Wisconsin then?
You know what? I saw Rambo when I was about 19, and that was I was always in good shape. I was kind of had that Sylvester Stallone vibe, and so that's kind of what I. Yeah.
So like, if you're not watching, you're listening. David looks exactly like
exactly.
Rambo.
But right. So I don't know why, and so it was like being in this. At this one point in time, being in the best shape that I could be in, what I saw in Rambo, that coverage. I had a successful business and a kind of successful life, and it gave me time to pursue this. I didn't realize that would be so all-consuming. And listen, you go through history, a lot of people have they've accomplished great things and lost a lot in the pursuit of those great things. And I just wonder how many people, at the end of their life would be like Steve Jobs saying this, right? So you got to have vision. What do I want and why do I want it? Now, you got to want it a lot. Because can I tell you something? In the pursuit of Mr. Wisconsin, there are a lot of pain and a lot of discipline involved to get there. A lot of starvation. I was hungry all the time.
What'd you say you went down to 1,000 calories?
Yeah, so that last year cutting from 183 to 154 where I competed at, had to really restrict my diet.
Yeah.
A month before competition, I weighed 164 and I was starving and I was ripped. And I thought, I can't do anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
That close. Yeah.
I'll never make it. And I'm too small to compete at the next weight up.
Okay.
And my trainer just grabbed, he's so strong. Al, hi, Al. We're going to talk to Al, by the way, in one of our future episodes because he's trained a ton of champions. You want to talk about preparing to win? Mm-hmm. Al of Richmond Training in Appleton, Wisconsin. He's an absolute expert on preparing people to win. Anyway, Al grabs my skin to show me how much fat was still there. And he's so strong. Yeah, the pinch test. I mean, he's so strong he could have found it with nothing. But anyway, that kept me going the next 10 pounds to accomplish that goal. So what do you want? Why do you want it? Because are you willing to pay the price to get it? Then there has to be, how am I going to get it? What are the steps to get it? Now, I didn't know. I was in good shape. Mm-hmm. I hired Al, a former Mr. Florida. Yeah. I took one look at the guy and says, he knows what to do. And he did know what to do. So if you want to accomplish something, find somebody who's accomplished them and mimic them.
Yeah, right.
Mirror their success.
Yeah, why would you reinvent the wheel when somebody's already done it? Just get their advice from them, talk with them, watch them, observe.
Yeah, that's actually called success modeling.
Right.
Find somebody who's doing it well and model. Now, you don't have to stop there. Mm-hmm. You can keep going beyond them, but that gives you at least develop that know-how, right? Yeah. And so you need a game plan for it. So I would say today, whatever you decide, I think that you could put down on a piece of paper over the holidays, you can spend some time in reflection, draw a line down the middle, and you might want to put on one side things I want, and on the other side, who I want to become.
Yeah.
Two different goals.
Yeah.
One is physical things to get, and who I want to become is becoming better today than yesterday. Right. And you might want to just have that out and jot on it. Yeah. And then identify things that you would want to change this next year, or things that you would like to improve, or things you would like to become, or things you would like to get. You make a list of them. Yeah. And then you can go through and kind of circle what has the highest value to you.
Right. And if you write it down, sometimes it'll also be like, oh, I put it on paper. Now I have to follow through with it.
Yeah, well, writing it down and commit to is a big thing. And so I think a lot of people will say this, I'd like to lose weight this year. Okay, so write it down, but be specific.
Yeah.
So you have to start with where you are now. Mm-hmm. You have to be specific to have a plan. Where am I now? Specifically, where do I want to go? So step one, where am I now? Where do I want to go? Number three, why do I want to go there? Am I willing to do what it takes to get there? Right. And then I guess the thing is, what is the game plan to get there? If you don't know how to lose that weight, you need to go online and study people who've done it. Right. Don't fall for the gimmicks and the hacks. If you want to lose weight, I'm just going to tell you, you're going to have to exercise and diet. There's no other way. Right. All the gimmicks in that, other than surgery, but forget that. If you want to lose weight, there's going to be two things. You've got to burn more calories and you've got to consume less calories. That's just the facts. Right. If you're not willing to do those two things, then probably move on to a different goal. That's the real life. But there's so much information how to do those two things online. We can't say we don't know how. If you want to know how, it's out there. How about I want to save money for a house?
Right.
That's
a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? My first house, we wanted to have 10 grand, and I think I was 23 years old. And so we started with how much money we had, and then we looked at the paycheck and said, how much do we have to save? And so out of every check, we took X amount and put it in an envelope for the house.
So you out of sight, out of mind. That money is not there for spending. That is for this.
That's
house.
It.
Yeah.
And I know that there's some guys that teach this envelope process. I never studied the envelope process. I just knew if I would separate the money and not touch it, I would have it. So just putting that aside. And sure enough, we said in 2 years we'll have the money, and we did. as long as we would diligently pursue. So a lot of people forget that it's really, the game plan is important, but it's the activity that gets you there.
Right.
You can't say, I'm going to save money this month, but not next month.
Right.
Or I'm going to watch what I eat today, but not the rest of the week.
Right.
Or I'm going to exercise once a week.
Yeah.
Solomon said the diligent person prospers, and I believe that's true. All right, so if you want to, goals will help you accomplish things. And setting a goal, maybe Solomon's vision is what you can do to set it on paper, right?
Yeah.
What do I want? Why do I want it? How am I going to get it? Am I willing to pay the price for it, right?
Yeah.
Is that a game plan? And
yeah.
so maybe writing those out, putting them in a SMART goal, specific, measurable, how you're going to measure it, and that it's attainable, how you're going to get there. Like for saving for that house, if I said I want to save this much a month and I didn't make that much, it's not attainable. So you got to look at realism. And then, of course, relative to my life, is it meaningful? That's the why. And then a timetable, when I'm going to be done. So you might want to just sit down and do that. So I think you could, physical goals, you said your whole life. Relational goals.
Yeah.
Maybe the goal is to improve. I want to be a better husband. I want to improve the relationship with my wife.
Yeah.
So I was, where am I now?
Yeah.
What would I like it to look like?
Right.
Why would I like it to look like?
I wonder if people don't set that one as much. Like I see physical a lot. I see financial goals a lot, but I don't see too many relational goals.
Yeah, I think we really are consumers, aren't we?
Yeah, well, and that goes right into what we've been talking in other episodes right now, those soft skills too.
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly right. Becoming more.
Yeah.
Financial, professional, spiritual. It's not, you can't touch it, but I mean,
you can feel it.
What does my time with God look like, and how is that relationship? Mental and personal. So there's those 7 key kind of areas that people know about. But really, I think that you have to, whatever's you value is what you need to pursue. I don't know if people take time to write down what they value, and I think they should.
Yeah.
So I think it starts there. So I want to tell you, the last thing we want to talk about, you got to have accountability. Iron sharpens iron. If you're going to have a goal, announce it to the world and you'll be held accountable.
Right.
But you said write it down and post it. So you're going to need help.
Yeah.
Discipline and changing your behavior is hard work. I think you also might want to give yourself a break. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Don't stop.
Yeah. Right.
Don't expect perfection. It takes a little bit, to get going. I think having a partner, like if you want to diet with somebody else. If you want to work out, run with someone. If you want to develop your skill sets, find somebody to practice with.
Yeah, and maybe you live with somebody and they have the same goals as you. Do it together. Do it together.
So I think accountability is crucial. So really, I just want to get this episode out as people are beginning the new year and deciding, what do we really want? Some people might call that a New Year's resolution, which are rarely followed up on. We're saying turn that New Year's resolution, that dream, into a goal by creating a game plan and discipline yourself to pursue it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I don't think there's any limit to planning for this either. The more you think about it, the more you put it down, the more likely it is to come true.
You might adjust on the fly as you go, right? Yeah. So this is yours as personal. So I know if you go online, there's a million, you can find a million ways. They'll talk about goal setting and stuff like that. You just really, in my opinion, need to spend some time thinking about what you want and applying Solomon's vision process. So this was a great episode to set the stage for the companion episode, which is time management.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Because if you're gonna set a goal, you have to change your behavior, which requires some time. You're gonna have to say no to some things to say yes to maybe your new goal, aren't you? Yep. So I hope you join us for that next episode. And as always, I know Grace is always saying, hey, like us, follow us, and stuff. So we want to tell you to do that. We appreciate you being with us, and we want to challenge you this week. Live and sell with excellence, and really, let's prepare to be better in 2024 by sitting down and really setting some goals. Good selling.